The baseline 10% tariff, when I engaged U.S. Secretaries for Commerce, Treasury Secretary, they made it quite clear this is what they call the umbrella tariff, which means they are not going to move on this 10% tariff, and therefore it may not make sense for us to negotiate and to trade in on our side and in exchange for a tariff that cannot be moved. So I think better for us to focus on what else we need to negotiate. I think I mentioned earlier that the U.S. is thinking about introducing a pharmaceutical tariff. This is what they call a sectoral tariff. They want to make sure that with this tariff, they are able to secure the supply chain for their pharmaceutical supplies. And there will be conditions attached to these tariffs, and if you want a concession on these tariffs. And they have offered Singapore to say that why not both Singapore and US can sit down and discuss some form of a concession for Singapore to have a beneficial or preferential tariff, even to the extent of a zero tariff for pharmaceutical exports to the US. You will require some efforts on the Singapore side to ensure that the supply chain for this pharmaceutical is secured. And these are the details that we are discussing. And this is a significant opportunity and a significant agreement, because although it's not the baseline 10%, but it's a very specific sectoral tariff. And pharmaceutical export is important part of Singapore's exports to the U.S., and therefore is something that we will be looking forward to discussing and engaging the U.S. to see how that is practical and what are the conditions that will be attached and how can we meet those conditions. But as I said, it is going to be a fairly long journey, because we do need to discuss specifics. It's not just sort of principal concepts. I think the concept is more or less there, but we will need to work through the details. Some may be practical, some may not be practical, and we will have to make the assessment. In the process of doing so, we will also be engaging the private sector, the pharmaceutical companies, because they are the one that is going to operate, manufacture the pharmaceuticals, import the ingredients, export the products. So they need to be consulted so that they can share with us what is possible, what is not possible. So I think it's going to be a long engagement and consultation and negotiation between U.S. and Singapore before we are able to share more details. So beyond the pharmaceutical, there are also discussion on the semiconductor. I think U.S. has also announced that they're going to look at the sectoral tariffs on semiconductor exports to U.S. The details are not available, and this is not part of the discussion on pharmaceutical yet. But at the same time, they also mentioned that there is going to be this tariff, and they are happy to discuss with Singapore how we can ensure continued supply. And the reverse is also important, that they are also keen to see how they can continue to supply Singapore with semiconductor technology, so that they will support our digital economy, our semiconductor industries, and the various critical industries that are important to us. So I think it's both direction, and it is multifaceted. I think the focus now is really on pharmaceutical, because that is something that's more specific and which is also very important for us. So I think, but I just want to qualify that it's going to take time. So I just want to manage the expectation that we won't be able to give you a daily or weekly update on the progress of the negotiation, because it will take time, and we can't share the details until we are able to arrive at some agreement between the two.